Welcome back to Switch to Linux, another clip from the Friday Night Live news. Today we're going to be talking about the privacy news. We're going to be talking about way too much data sharing. And I mean, this is just things that make your mind go, what's going on? So first, we start with, of course, you guys remember that the whole Cambridge Analytica scandal, and they went bankrupt and all this. Well, it just turns out that all of the key employees involved in Cambridge Analytica, they went bankrupt, closed down the business because, there's a point in time you just got to jump off the ship. And they jumped off of the ship right into another passing boat. And that passing boat is, guess what? Another data analytics company called Data Propria, which is, of course, working with the Trump campaign and numerous other people. Chances are they're using all the same data. So they've just collected all the stuff, jumped with it. They jumped off of one boat, let that thing sink, sabotaged it with some dynamite, blew it all up to the bottom of the sea, jumped on this new boat, which proudly displays Data Propria. Can we take these directors and people involved and just throw them in a prison cell for a while with no access to anything outside world until we get all this sorted out? That's kind of what we really need to think about doing. And of course, they're still working with the Trump campaign again. Of course, Cambridge Analytica did that. So they're working on the next one. And they're doing all the same stuff. It is effectively the same company. Same company. I believe they're in the same building. They might be on the same floor. I think they went bankrupt, they put up an auction, and they bought it from themselves, and they opened up a new company with all the same data and all the same everything. It is the same company. Let's hold them accountable now before it gets crazy. But of course they're working on, and now this came out because one of the guys was out there bragging in public about what they did, and a journalist happened to be sitting nearby and recorded that bad boy. So basically he says, I'm laser focused 2018 midterms, holding the House and increasing our seats in the Senate. He says once we do those things, I'll start working on re-electing President Trump. That's exciting to know. London-based Cambridge Analytica is accused of playing a key role in a 2014 breach of 87 million Facebook users' personal data. Company said it did not use any of the data for Trump's election campaign. Yeah, we believe that. Everybody thumbs up the video if you believe. Oh, wait, don't do that. I won't get any thumbs up. Yeah. 3 of the people on Data Propria's 10-person team are Cambridge Analytica alumni, but they said they were focused on campaign operations and data analysis, not behavioral psychology. That's data. Cambridge Analytica was never about data psychology. It was the psychologists who involved in that. They're the ones who bought the information from the guy. Oh, God. David Wilkinson is one of the employees, British citizen, is the company's lead data scientist. During 2016 campaign, Wilkinson helped oversee the voter data modeling that informed Trump's focus on the Rust Belt, according to Cambridge Analytica press release issued after the election. Federal election law bars foreign nationals from directing, controlling, or directly or indirectly participating in decision-making of U.S. campaigns. I don't know. I think my blood pressure is going a little too high. I might need to stop reading this one. Take-home message. Take-home message. Stay off your social media. Be very careful with your data online so it doesn't get scooped up by these people. And maybe keep on going with your Congress and Senate. I know it's like talking to empty rocks, people with empty rocks in their heads, but keep on pushing, get the companies like this, out of politics. We don't need any of this type of stuff in politics, all right? Politics should not be about marketing. It should not be about directing. It should not be about information, misinformation, or targeted information on social media platforms. It should be about electing the people the American people want, not telling the American people who they want and then making it happen. And that's really an unfortunate thing where we are. We could probably go with that somewhere else. Well, do you guys use Chromecast or any of the Google Home devices? Well, they're kind of leaking data. This is the one Google said, yeah, we'll fix it in a couple weeks, maybe. This is a bug. I'm guessing it's not really a bug. So basically the way this works is you can get a script in on the back side of this. So any website which can load a JavaScript file, can get in here and load up the JavaScript. And what it will do is it will kick on the ability for the thing to scan wireless networks, and utilizing Google's too large database as to where wireless networks happen to be from their Google cars driving around, they can actually pinpoint the location of your HomePod or your Chromecast within less than 10 meters. So take home message, get home crap off your network. And of course it's like, well, what's so wrong with this? Well, here's one of the greatest things that they had made in this comment is this allows phishing scams and other things to go very bad. For example, in this world where we're having the unfortunate case of swatting showing up, one of the things that we start to see every now and again, there was a case in, I think it was either in Denver or in Colorado Springs, just about a year or two ago, where a scammer was trying to scam somebody for money, and the guy's like, no, I think you're a scammer, and the scammer actually was able to get FBI. Basically, the scammer swatted the guy because the scammer figured out where the guy lived. So this allows you to do a whole lot more targeting fake FBI stuff, fake IRS stuff, any fake location to figure out where you are. They can figure out where you are. And these guys are so knowledgeable about how the system works and the loopholes in our system. They could get you killed from but the hand of our illustrious government from the other half of the world by unmasking where you are. So Google, fix this now. Don't wait 2 or 3 weeks. Take home message, don't use crap like this. Do you really need a device that you... Okay, Google, play Spice Girls. Guys, we don't need a... go over and push the button to turn on the music, okay? Go over and toggle the light switch. Is this really that hard? The trade-off and the risk is not worth it. It's not worth it at all. At all. Verizon and ATT will stop selling your phone location. So remember this one. I covered this one about a month or so ago. This is where there was the company that was basically buying up all the location data, and you could go to this website, enter in the information of your phone, and there was even a way you could go in and bypass the verification, and by doing that, it could figure out exactly where your phone was within a very short range. So when all of this came out, it caused a big ruckus, of course. And Verizon and AT&T, they said, we're going to stop selling phones location to data brokers. Carriers forced to make changes after the real-time data leaked. Now, of course, notice that there's more data providers than AT&T and Verizon. This is fascinating. Sprint told Ars that it has nothing additional to share. We asked T-Mobile for a response with widened statement, and we'll update the story if they answer. Sprint announced it is changing their data sharing practice after about 2 hours story published. Quote, Sprint is in the beginning process of terminating its current contracts with data aggregators to whom we provide information. This will take some time in order to unwind the service to consumers, such as the roadside assistant fraud prevention. It simply says it's suspended all data sharing with Location Smart, a data broker involved in the controversy. That is that one. There was another one that's a little bit more ominous. Okay, T-Mobile CEO John Legere, who on Twitter his company, quote, will not sell customer location data to shady middlemen. Shady middle... Would you please define for me shady middlemen? Please? Statement is vague. He did not specify whether T-Mobile will stop sharing with Location Smart or other aggregators. As detailed later in this article, T-Mobile's letter to Wyden on June 15 said the company will continue sharing data with these aggregators. Since the letter, quote, our office has not received any updated response from T-Mobile about its policy with respect to location aggregators or other data brokers. Another update, a further update, several hours after Legere's tweet, T-Mobile provided this statement to Wyden's office. We ended all transmission of customer data to Securus and will wind down our location aggregator statements. Didn't this just happen last week too? Where a CEO says something and then a company official statement has to come out and say something different. Either the CEO is not qualified to be CEO or the PR guy is covering something up. And you guys all know, you can tell a PR person is lying if their lips are moving or their fingers are typing. My take home from this, if you have T-Mobile or Sprint, jump ship. I mean, Verizon and ATT aren't a whole ton better. But at least they're saying, yeah, we're stopping this. These guys aren't stopping it. At least it's confusing. Their CEO says, we're not stopping this. Their PR comes out and says, we're stopping this. It's like the CEO said what's really going on because he's a CEO and that's what psychopaths do. But the PR guy's like, dude, we can't say that. Shut up, CEO. Just shut up. Let me handle this. And he's like, we're not doing any of this. We're not doing anything wrong. Yeah, we believe you. T-Mobile / Sprint / whatever you are right now. I don't know. That's why I recommend banning both ships. Holy moly, this is just insane. So Verizon is ending with 2 different aggregators, Location Smart and Zamugo. See, here's the thing, though, is that they should end all of it. They should end all of it. There's no reason. Now, of course, this has been a big issue regarding the criminal case. Was it Clifford, whatever the guy's name was, where the police figured out that he was in the vicinity of crimes each time, and they utilized that to issue an arrest warrant, and that's been going through the Supreme Court. Well, guess what happened just this afternoon, people? The Supreme Court weighed in, and the Supreme Court finally decides against warrantless location searches in a major privacy decision. Hallelujah! There's somebody in the Supreme Court with a functioning brain. So basically they came down and said, no, you may not. Now, I did not read into this enough to see, does this overturn this guy's conviction or not? Carpenter. I was thinking Clifford. It's Carpenter. So I didn't read into this enough to know, does this overturn Carpenter's conviction? And my guess is it will. Because that was the thing that was decided. So the Supreme Court just came down this afternoon and said, in order for the police to get your location data from your cell phone, they have to have a warrant. Absolutely victory for the privacy world. Now, of course, it was a little nebulous. They refused to get rid of the third-party doctrine. In other words, they haven't completely done away with this concept. They haven't completely sat there and said, well, and this is where that issue is. The third-party doctrine is if I go in and I open up a Facebook account and the Facebook account has the terms and conditions and I fill out a bunch of information, the question now becomes is who owns this data? If I own the data, then that may not be passed on without a warrant. But if buried in the company's terms and conditions, they own the data, they can sell that data whoever they want, which means that they could give or sell the data to the government without a warrant. So they have not overturned the third-party doctrine law, but this is still a victory. We need to probably make the strides in that. So this is good. This has been a thing in the making. Now, of course, they had this 6-day rule, but and again, I didn't read that far into this. This just came out. So this is good, though. This is a really good thing that basically says, no, the government cannot keep active ties. So going back to our whole AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and Sprint. Hey, T-Mobile and Sprint, the Supreme Court basically just said, if you're sharing data with a third party that might share it with a law enforcement, we might have some challenges. So keep that in mind. All right. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up with a few Amazon-y stories. Full disclosure, I have an Amazon affiliate link up there. If you do shop on Amazon, feel free to use that link. That'll help support this channel. And I appreciate it when people do that. And I use Amazon. I do. I am certainly critical of some of the things Amazon does. But I do use Amazon because they also have ways that you can use it privately. They have ways that Amazon, not to mention the fact that Amazon has pretty much killed most of the other places I could get certain things that I need. So there's unfortunately somewhat of a necessity, and maybe that's a problem. So this first one, all right, fine. I guess I'll accept so you guys can read the article. I don't really accept, but we can pretend. All right. So I was compelled. All right, European Union, get this site. Go get it. All right. Amazon helps hotels offer new engaging guest experiences with Alexa for hospitality. Yep, you'll start going into Marriott's properties now. Going to Marriott's, you might have your own special spy sitting right there in your hotel room. You can ask it for housekeeping requests or to call the concierge for dinner for recommendations without ever picking up the phone. Guys, is it really hard to pick up the phone and push 0? I mean, really, I have stayed at a lot of hotels. I've never had a problem picking up the phone, pushing 0, and going, where's a good place to eat around here? Okay, like, how about this one? Where was it at? Was it here somewhere? I don't know. It's in the article here somewhere. It's like, when's the pool open? Dude, every hotel room I've ever been in, they have a card sitting on the table with all that information. Stop asking Alexa, when's the pool close, Alexa? Walk your little hiney over to the table, pick up the piece of paper sitting on the table, and read when the pool closes. For the love. Now, if this couldn't get any worse, you can temporarily connect your Amazon Alexa account to this Alexa in the hotel room, so you can have your own personal Alexa there at home in the hotel room. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. So this is with Marriott. Of course, you can request that the always listening Amazon spy who will laugh at you hideously, you can request it be removed from the room, so it doesn't have to be there. So just an FYI on that. And of course, we cannot talk about Alexa without saying, Alexa, order unicorn meat. So there you go. I wonder how many cans of unicorn meat I've actually sold by doing that. I don't know. I was curious. Good thing I don't have any affiliation with the people who sell unicorn meat. All right. This is another one following in. Now, some people have tried to take this to spin this into the whole discussion, what's going on at the border. This doesn't have anything to do with that. This has to do with whole-scale sale of facial recognition technology to law enforcement. So Amazon has an entire branch called Recognition, spelled with a K. And what that service does is they're marketing that to law enforcement, which can be used to facial ID anyone, hundreds of people just from looking at an individual photo, which is a scary thing. Now, there is some ICEREC comment in this as well, mostly because Planetar is hosted on an AWS server. So several hundred Amazon employees got together and signed a letter addressed to Jeff Bezos to cancel the recognition program and to cancel any AWS accounts with Planetar because that's just too invasive. And kind of we're starting to see this shift where people are actually slowly starting to wake up. All of a sudden, people are starting to look and go, wow, the privacy people are actually onto something. And we're starting to see that over here. So, of course, you can read the letter over here. So this is on Scribd, so we'll read this letter. And it's a good letter. It says, Dear Jeff, we are troubled by the recent report from the ACLU exposing our company's practice of selling AWS Recognition, a powerful facial recognition technology, to police departments and government agencies. We don't have to wait to find out how these technologies will be used. We already know that in the midst of historic militarization of police, renewed targeting of black activists, and the growth of federal deportation force currently engaged in human rights abuses, says, this will be another powerful tool for the surveillance state and ultimately to harm the most marginalized. We are not alone in this view. Over 40 civil rights organizations signed an open letter in opposition to governmental use of facial recognition, while over 150,000 individuals signed another petition delivered by the ACLU. We also know that Planeter runs on AWS. We know that ICE relies on Planeter to power its detention and deportation programs, along with much of the world, we watched in horror recently as U.S. authorities tore children away from their parents. Since the April 19, 2018, the Department of Homeland Security has sent nearly 2,000 children to mass detention centers. This treatment goes against UN Refugee Agency guidelines that says children have the right to remain united with their parents and that asylum seekers have the legal right to claim asylum. In the face of the immoral U.S. policy, the U.S. is increasing humane treatment of refugees and immigrants. Beyond this specific policy, we are deeply concerned that Amazon is implicated providing infrastructure and services to enable ICE and DHS. Technology like ours is playing an increasingly critical role across many sectors of society. What is clear to us is that our development and sales practices have yet to acknowledge the obligation that comes with this. Focusing solely on shareholder value is a race to the bottom, and one we will not participate in. We refuse to build a platform that powers ICE, and we refuse to contribute tools that violate human rights. As ethically concerned Amazonians, we demand a choice in what we build and a say in how it is used. We learn from history and we understand how IBM systems were employed in the 1940s to help Hitler. IBM did not take responsibility then, and by the time their role was understood, it was too late. We will not let that happen again. The time to act is now. We call you to 1. Stop selling facial recognition services to law enforcement. 2. Stop providing infrastructure to Planeter and any other Amazon partner who enable ICE. And 3. Implement strong transparency and accountability measures that include enumerating which law enforcement agencies the companies supporting law enforcement agencies are using Amazon services and how. Our company should not be in the surveillance business. We should not be in the policing business. We should not be in the business supporting those who monitor and oppress marginalized populations. Amen to that. And I'm going to add, Jeff Bezos, please resign from all connections to the Pentagon, the CIA, and the Department of Defense, because you don't have any business there. That's my thought. What are your thoughts on that letter to Jeff Bezos and Amazon? Let me know below. I hope you've enjoyed this video from Switched to Linux. If you'd like to help support the channel, check out the links at the top. There is another video over here. You can check out our Patreon page down here. And you can check out shop.switchtolinux.com for information on a t-shirt like this or some other designs. Thanks for watching and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.